What's up, everybody? Marcel's Film Freak here, and I've got something very special for you today. This is a short interview that I just got done with the legend that is Marko Zaror, one of the very, very best working in the industry today in martial arts action cinema, and I just got to have a nice short discussion with him. Wasn't a very long interview, but you know what? I feel lucky. I feel happy that I got to do it. Marco is here to promote his new movie Affinity, which comes out at the end of the month. It comes out on September 30th. That's right, at the end of the month you can check out his new movie, and if you're watching this in October or further into the future, well, you can check out his movie right now. He stars in Affinity alongside Louis Mandylor, Brooke Ence, Elliot Allison, the great Brahim Chab, as well as actress Jane Mirro, and it is directed by Brandon Slagle. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. Might be Slagle. I don't know. I have seen this movie. I had a lot of fun with it, and I can guarantee you that you will too. Marko Zaror, again, is one of the best action performers in the world today, and he pulls out all stops once again in his new movie, Affinity, which again, you can see at the end of the month on September 30th. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into my interview with Marko Zaror. All right, so how you doing today, sir?
Very good, very good. Thanks for the invite, man.
Thank you for talking to me. My name is Tristan. I'm from the Martial Arts Film Freak YouTube channel.
Awesome.
So I'm a big fan of your movies. Have been since I first discovered you in probably 2011, maybe watching Undisputed 3. You playing Dolor, fighting Scott Adkins. One
Awesome.
of my questions here, I've been wondering about. I've been listening to some of your interviews, hearing you talk about how you left Chile just because you decided that there wasn't much to do there in terms of film work, so you left to Mexico. What sort of inspired you to go back and start making movies in Chile?
Well, I just wanted to bring that experience that I've learned in the movie The Rundown, working
Mm,
with Andy Chang. And I realized, I said, listen, this never been done in Latin America. Like,
mm,
I got people, I got my friends, I think if we can tell a story from Chile,
right.
with martial arts, using all this knowledge, it would be something very unique because it's never done before. So, it was that challenge was very attractive for me,
Right.
you know?
What are some of those lessons that you picked up? Andy Chang being the legend that he is, with the background being a Jackie Chan stunt team member alum. What are some of those lessons that you took from him into your own work in Chile?
Well, everything is like I never realized how to combine martial arts with cinema. Like,
Mm,
the way he did the rehearsals and the previews and how they shot it together and then edit it and then see how it works and combining angles and the whole process, the whole logistics from the beginning then to the final movie. It's like
mm,
that whole process. I was very trying to absorb everything and be next to him, trying to learn and making questions like why he's doing what he's doing, why here, why the camera here now, why,
mm.
I wanted to be part of it and learn all the process.
Right. I've heard you talk about how you develop your characters, how you get into your characters, how you maybe start with developing how they walk first. How does
Yes.
that then transition into how they fight? Because some of your characters, not everyone fights the same way. Your character in Redeemer to Undisputed 3 to Diablo, everyone fights some sort of different way. So how does that character development then flow into how you fight?
Well, yeah, because first, as a character, you need to know the character and understand his motivations, his fears, like, and then what makes sense also in the story for him how to move. Like, in Redeemer, he's kind of like a dark assassin, is to be very effective. In Diavolo, he's like, a guy that it's like very mental disturbed, with this knife in the hand.
Mm,
So every character, when you read the script and you understand the character, the first thing why the walk? Because the walk defines the psychology of the character. As a martial artist, I'm a very physical guy. So, you see someone walking and you can tell a lot about that person, right? So then once I discover the walk, then I start discovering, oh, maybe he will punch like this, or he will kick like
right.
this, or he will maybe not kick. you know, and blah blah. And then that's how you start creating the different styles, or you picking the different style. Oh, this will be more this way or this other way. And then little by little, this starts appearing when I start creating the choreography. If I have a motivation in a scene, then that will guide the choreography. I'm in a rush to get my objective, or I'm escaping. So I'm more avoiding and trying to survive instead of being the one that is attacking and looking for that
Right.
objective. So I need to rush into beating the people. It's different than just understanding that the guy maybe is vulnerable. He just want to survive. So then the choreography has a different feel,
Mm-hmm.
into to fit into the overall story. Because remember,
Right.
we're telling an overall story, a whole story that every detail that you do in that fight needs to fit that goal.
Mm-hmm. I know that myself, being a fan, looking from the outside in, I used to struggle a lot watching American action movies. Just being a martial arts fan, I've always been. I was always more attracted to the low budget stuff or the foreign stuff. How are you feeling going into this future where now we have these directors like your collaborator? Uh, Sorry, I'm blanking on his name here a little bit. Ernesto Diaz Espinosa. You of course have your collaborator there. You have people like J.J. Perry, Chad Stahelski, David Leitch. Now that we have these stuntmen and fighters now stepping into the director chair, how do you feel about the industry going forward with that?
Well, that's amazing because it's like finally you're communicating and you're expressing how fights and martial arts and action should be captured by the camera. Because
Mm-hmm.
as martial artists, as fans, as stunt people, and all that, we know how it feels to throw a kick, to
Right.
hit the ground, to do a spin. So when you put the camera, it's like you want to somehow transmit that into the audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't done it, or you haven't hit the ground, or you haven't, practiced, you kind of don't understand how that need to come across
Yeah.
to the audience, right?
Right.
Even the sound design, if you do a technique and you do like a block hit or like a double block hit, like a ta ta ta
Mm-hmm.
boom, like ta 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 wah, wah, like you kind of feel the rhythm of that, right? You understand. So if you were, shooting the scene and then you disconnect as a director for with all the sound design, then the technique is not going to come across the way
Mm-hmm.
that it's supposed
Right.
to to be, because the sound is not following.
Yeah.
And you only know that if you've done the technique and you're in combat and you just make it happen, and
Mm-hmm.
and you perform that technique basically, kind of what
Right.
if you feel what I'm going with.
Yeah.
So, and in movie making, everything has a role. Like the way you put the camera and the sound design you're making
Mm-hmm.
around that angle needs to all combine together for the final result.
Yeah.
And now that's why Chad, JJ, all these people are making, like they did that big step. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you see their work, you're like, oh, this is just different. This is like, and it hits the audience in a different way.
Yeah. I watched the documentary that they did on the John Wick, making the John Wick films, and something I just truly appreciate as a martial arts fan is seeing the understanding that Chad Stahelski has, not just in what he's doing but who he's working with. It was fun. You had a small exchange I saw where he said, oh, I've had them kill Mark Dacascos, I've had them kill Scott Adkins, I've got him killing Marko Zaror. I might as well bring in Cynthia Rothrock for the next movie. And just seeing a martial arts nerd like that making movies just warms the heart a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I know, man. He's the best, man. Yeah.
What are there any movies recently that have inspired you or made you jealous and need you to get out there making movies of your own recently? Anything that come out in the past few years?
Uh, like I'm a big fan, I'm fan of Scott. I see these guys from the Martial Club are doing very cool
Mm-hmm.
stuff too, you know. But for me, it's more about the story, to be honest. Like even,
Mm-hmm.
you see me as a martial arts guy, but
Right.
what motivates me to make a good martial arts movie is the story. and
Right.
then how I can prepare myself to tell that story and create this action and martial arts around it. Because of course I want to make stories that had this physicality, right?
Right.
But I think first is to find that cool story, and then everything falls into place. So it's not about, oh, these guys are making this type of movies, I want to make those type of movies. It's not. I'm more in the search of
Hmm.
what will be a cool story that we can add this martial arts
Yeah.
element in. Like that's kind of like what's how it worked. And that's how Affinity,
Right
this
on.
movie we
Yeah.
did, it's a story that I have from a long time ago, and based in all the influence that I had with Ernesto and the movies that we like. And I wrote this story about this theme that is very big right now. That is, we're
Hmm.
creating, we're cloning, we're doing AI,
Hmm.
we're replacing humans or the natural way of being born. But
Hmm.
what we cannot recreate is the affinity you develop between two human beings.
Yeah.
And that's why I had this concept, and this story was attractive to me, how
Hmm.
we can add martial arts and action to tell this story, you
Yeah.
know? So that's what really drove this movie to happen,
Hmm.
to be always in the first person and tell this from the vision of Bruno, of this guy, like he's discovering everything, and as the audience is also discovering at the same time as him. So
Yeah.
that was the challenge that I wanted to do with this movie.
Right. Well, that answers my last question then, which was, what sort of what drew you to making this movie Affinity. So thank you very much for answering that question.
Uh, cool, cool.
Yes, sir. Well, believe that's our time, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and get on to the next one, sir.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank you so
man.
much, sir. You have a good rest of
Thank
your day.
you. Thanks for the support.
That was my discussion with the great Marko Zaror. Again, you can check out his movie Affinity, which he stars alongside Brahim Chab and Louis Mandalore and many others. At the end of the month, on September 30th, you can see the new Marko Zaror film Affinity. Go check that one out. Let me know what you thought of my discussion with Marco here in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook, there is the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page. Instagram, Martial Arts Film Freak. Tristan_Glover on, I don't even remember anymore. Twitter, of course. And then Blue Sky. And of course, Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.